Hey guys, Mars Thinking here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we are going to start looking at the barbershop units that got their EZA alongside the God Goku and Kid Goku, to see how good they can be. Now, we're actually going to start off pretty strong here. I think NAPPA could potentially be one of the more useful ones, simply because he is a physical support. All of these units support their own mono typing, right? But he is on the 200% lead of CHADITZ, who is also a physical unit. And of course, CHADITZ leading Pure Saiyans or Saiyan Saga. The support that these mono units give isn't specific to Super or Extreme, it's just physical. Which means that other units on the Saiyan Saga team, like LR, Goku and Piccolo, can also benefit from the support from this NAPPA. So, we're going to take a look at these guys. They all have very similar kits. They have the Typing Leader Skill 3 key 90% to stats. And then their super attacks, they all raise defense for 1 turn and do supreme damage to the enemy. Then we have attack and defense 120% when performing a super attack, so not very good in slot 1. They get an additional 30% attack and defense and a high chance to crit with 3 or more key spheres obtained. So that is the part that is different on each unit. They all get attack and defense 30%, and then they get some other ability. If you pick up 3 orbs, NAPPA gets a high chance to crit. So then we get an additional attack and defense 50% with 5 or more orbs obtained. And then he gives physical types 2 key and attack and defense 30%, plus an additional attack and defense 10% for physical types with 3 or more physical orbs obtained. So ideally we want to pick up 5 orbs and have 3 of them be physical in order for him to be at his full potential. So I haven't given, I think, any of these guys any skill orbs yet, but he is max links. Being a NAPPA, he's on Pure Saiyans, Space Traveling Warriors, Terrifying Conquerors and Saiyan Saga. So realistically, any of these teams where you want to build a very physical heavy team, then he could be useful as long as he's not terrible. You know, we're going in here. This is my first time actually using the unit for the showcase, so it's very much a first impression for me as much as it is a showcase. So, unfortunately, we did not get either of the Raditzes on the first turn. However, we do have this NAPPA. Unfortunately, they can't link, but he is giving the Saiyan Saga allies 2 key, 30% attack and defense, and then there is a superclass enemy, right? So, he is giving an extra... So it's 37% attack and 38% defense. So, let's see. I guess we do want to leave these guys in slot 1 because they do have guard for the first few turns. We can get 3 physical orbs here. So, getting the 3 physical orbs, we're going to get 30% extra attack and defense and the high chance to crit. And we're going to get the extra 10% for physical type allies. But we're not going to get the extra 50% attack and defense, which obviously can make a pretty significant difference. So if we go ahead and do this, we can see, obviously, Goku and Piccolo's attack stat went up because we're now getting that extra support. So we can see we are now at 120k defense. So he's going to raise defense by 30% on super. So that puts him at about, what, 160? I mean, considering that's with a support unit on the rotation, that's definitely not the best. Now, he doesn't have the best links with Goku and Piccolo, to be fair. So we obviously want to get him linked up with one of the Raditzes. One of the Raditzes in slot 7, so he will be on the next turn with this NAPPA anyway. So, because I remember talking about in the video when I talked about the fact that these EZAs were coming to global. We talked a little bit in that video about which ones would potentially be the most useful because they have specific teams where they can link up with the typing that they want. And so, like I said at the beginning, NAPPA probably is in more of a better situation than some of the others because of units like Raditz and Goku and Piccolo. So, not a crazy attack stat, coming in under 3 mil. Now, of course, we have to look at these units through a different lens. People always get annoyed when I don't do this, because they are free-to-play units. So even though they have an EZA now and everything, they are free-to-play units. So we can't judge them super harshly in the same sort of way that we would for summonable units. But at the same time, we still have to look at them under the lens of like the current meta of the game. Like what events are we going to use them in, and how good will they be? Because, you know, we're doing an Infinite Dragon Ball History stage to show him off here. Then one of the main reasons is because I couldn't find a CHADITZ friend in multiple of the other events that I often do to showcase units. But just by looking at what we've seen so far, I feel like he's not, you know, these units are not going to be top picks for like red zone stages, right? I feel like the most use people are going to get out of them, and I talked about this in that previous video, like for somebody like myself who obviously has a very strong box. I've been playing the game for years. I spend quite a decent amount of money. These units maybe will get used for Battlefield because I still run mono teams for all of my Battlefield builds, but other than that, like, I can't really see myself getting a huge amount of use. And we have Brutal, Beatdown, and Saiyan Warrior Race. So let me actually get the link tool site up here and see who his best link partner is. Because the problem is with this NAPPA, and with all the units to be fair, you're going to want to run them mostly with other units of that same typing, because that is their role essentially, right, to support that mono typing. So it doesn't matter if all of his best link partners are non-physical units, then that doesn't really help out in terms of team building, right? Like, his best link partner is the LR, Vegeta, and NAPPA, but he doesn't provide them with any support. That's 6 links they share. Then we drop down to 4 links. We have units like the UR version of Grey 8 Vegeta. It's not even the actual LR. They only share 3 links. Are there actually any physical units here? Wow. So yeah, in terms of links, he shares 3 links with Super Strike King Cold, the free-to-play Hachiak, Shugesh from the Bardock squad, the free-to-play EZA one. He's actually pretty good. Scouter Vegeta, the EZA one. Physical Dragon Ball Super Broly, funnily enough. He shares 3 links. Ironically, that could be an interesting rotation, I guess, right? Him giving all that extra support to Broly. But I guess by combining these two, he does share a few links here. So, can we get 3 physical orbs anywhere? I don't think we can, unless we... How are these going to drop? Oh. No, so we can get 5 orbs, but we can't get 3 physical. So, we can't get the extra support, but we can get the extra part of his passive. So, yeah, he's at 121k, which is very similar to the previous turn. That's without the extra support. Definitely not the best. The more I see of these guys, well, I say these guys, right, because they are all going to perform relatively similarly, but some of them will just have much better setups than others. Like one of the ones that, I mean, I'm going to do all of them, right, but we're going to get around to the Int Dabura one, and I feel like he could potentially have some usefulness, because we know from the anniversary going on JP that the free-to-play anniversary LR that eventually gets an EZA is a Barbody that has a standby ability into Majin Vegeta, and that unit is obviously Extreme Int on Majin Buu Saga, just like Dabura. Like, they'll be on a few teams and they share a few links, so they could be pretty good, or they could be pretty good together. That Dabura could be pretty good with him. But as I talked about in that previous video, when trying to think about Extreme Int units, at least for Majin Buu Saga, there's not really a huge amount. So when it comes to building the team for Dabura, then obviously we'll have to take that into account. I'm sure he's on some categories with some other units that will be pretty helpful, but the anniversary, keeping an eye out for that free-to-play LR is definitely something that's going to come up for him in the future. Off the top of my head, I think the worst situated one is the AGL Great Saiyaman. I don't feel like there's a lot of crazy, like, super AGL type team builds that he will be really good on. But, you know, I guess we'll wait and see. So, now we are going to be able to get the full passive, so 5 physical orbs. So not only do we get the 5 orbs buff, but we also get the support buff. And yeah, 120k. So he's missing out a lot by not getting a ton of links. But unfortunately, NAPPA just does not have the best links. So... And we are fighting a super type enemy as well. So Raditz is Turles is giving him 40% support on this turn as well, which is kind of crazy. So his defense definitely not crazy impressive, right? We've been consistently at a sort of level where we're getting about 160k. Actually, no, I'm sure someone's already written this in the comments. He gets most of his defense on super attack, like I said at the beginning. So he's getting 120% when we attack. So his defense is actually, what, 260, something like that, 280, and then the super attack effect. So I guess around like just over 300. I can't believe I literally read his passive at the beginning of the video and then forgot that it's all on super attack. So that does make a pretty significant difference. I was going to say, I was about to completely write this man off as being absolute garbage if that was the way it was looking. Because yeah, that would be significantly worse if that was all he was getting. But yeah, the on super attack effect is going to make a pretty huge difference. I'll have to try and remember that going forwards for the other showcases. But what am I like? I always keep these things in videos though, because I think it's funny. I can hold my L's sometimes. I could, you know, I could scrap this and just re-record the video and not forget that he gets all of his percentage on super attack. And like I said, I'm sure somebody's already written it in the comment section without waiting to get to this part of the video, where I realised my mistake and corrected myself, but it is what it is, I guess. So we can actually get away with putting him in slot 1 now, which means we actually get the links for you. Like, the difference with this guy is at least he has Fierce Battle. So we've got 77 point... Oh, yeah, we need to pick up the orbs first, don't we? Although, yeah, I guess we don't want to put him in slot 1, because then we can't get our physical orbs. So we can get these, which gives us the jump to 96k. Yeah. I mean, it's not looking too great for this NAPPA, I will say. Even with now taking into account the fact that he's getting that extra buff on super. Because 120k, sorry, 120% when he's at 90k, we're still only talking about like a little bit over 200k. And then he gets 30% on his super attack effect. He's putting out, what, 3.3 million with support on this turn. Now, if you get a double super, then obviously that's going to help out a little bit. We get that extra 30% raise. He did also crit on both the supers, because remember, NAPPA's ability when you pick up 3 orbs is that he gets a high chance to crit. So that is pretty good. But I think overall, I'm not seeing anything particularly crazy from this guy. I know Jacko is quite weak. If we can not take out Jacko here, then we can get a good turn for NAPPA next turn, because we can get 5 physical orbs again. But yeah, although the rotation is going to be the one with Goku and Piccolo, which, whilst not giving any support, does give some extra links. So I guess it's not the worst thing in the world. And Raditz definitely benefits from NAPPA being around. But of course, we take out Jacko. So we'll see what the orbs look like here for this next turn. But I think it's weird that they rely on the picking up multiple of a same type orb when they have no orb changing. I think that is a probably a bad choice design wise. But let's see. Let's go ahead and do this, and then we can get... So we can't get the physical orbs, but we can get 5 orbs. So we don't get the extra buff for the other physical types, but we do get the full buff for NAPPA himself. So yeah, 120, that means he's what? 240 is 100%, so he's at like 260, 270, something like that on super, and then the 30% from his super attack effect as well. So he's at about 300k pretty consistently with support, or at least some. If you're getting, sorry, I say support, if you're getting the 5 orbs, right? And then if you do manage to get the actual physical orbs, he's giving that extra 10% support, which does apply to himself. So yeah, I mean, you tell me, right? Like, I get people in my comments before, that's why I mentioned it, right? Saying that I'm being too hard on free-to-play units. But you guys let me know what you think, right? Like, this is him on a 200% team. This is probably one of the best, like, teams you could run him on, right? Where he's helping to support Raditz. And, yeah, honestly, I don't think he's anything too crazy. Could be useful for Battlefield. I think that's the main place I'm going to use him, but other than that, I'm not exactly, you know, crazy about this unit. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Master Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.